Welcome to the Church Answers Podcast. I'm Tom Rayner. My special guest in the third of three episodes, we dropped three in one day, is Art Rayner. Art is the owner, CEO, founder of Christian Money Solutions. Before we go any further, Art, we've got Christian Money Solutions, we've got the 8 Money Milestones, and you got two books that are all out. Would you kind of bring some of your resume to us for just a moment? Talk about your company. Talk about the two books that I know there are more than two books because you've done children's book series as well. But talk about that, and then we're going to get into a mystery person. So just talk a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so Christian Money Solutions, which launched about a year and a half ago, exists to help people discover and pursue God's design for money. We believe that Scripture talks a lot about money. We believe it because it does, right? God weaves numerous, over 2,000 verses about money, possessions, and stewardship all throughout Scripture. And so we want people to understand what the Bible has to say about money, but we don't want to just leave them there. We want to provide them practical ways to live that out, to chase after God's design for money. And so we do that in a variety of different ways. We provide content and curriculum and certifications, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But once again, the goal is help people discover and pursue God's design for money.
Well, thank you, Art. Let us thank Belay, our sponsor. They are the master of productivity. They provide you workers who will come in and be your executive assistant, your bookkeeper, and another of other jobs of virtual workers. I love them. I've always had a Belay worker. I was with Belay. You've heard me say this many times before. They were Belay, and I'm still with them today. And we're so thankful for them providing the resources that we are able to provide this ministry for free. They have a new download called The Power of Productivity. It's an ebook. Go to THOM at 55123. That's THOM, THOM, at 55123. All right, Art, it's time to unveil the mystery person. And this is my doings. You didn't set this up this way, but I am convinced that this one person, if a church would train this person within their congregation, could make a huge amount of difference. Tell us about this certification. We'll put it in the show notes as well, but every church needs one of these. So tell me about it.
So we're talking about the Certified Christian Financial Counselor. Now, this is a person that has been through the Certified Christian Financial Counselor program, which is a 32-module program that walks a person through what the Bible has to say about money, but also takes them through how to budget well, how to guide people in there with getting out of debt, how to help people save for the future, and obviously how to help people live and give more generously. And so this certification, once again, it's a 32 module program. They go through the course, then at the end, they have to pass an exam. It's a 100-question exam, a 2-hour exam. And assuming that they pass the exam, they receive the certification. Now, this certification has already been widely accepted by various Christian financial organizations. In fact, we even recently partnered with Biola University out in California. And so they have students that are actually going through the program right now as a part of their financial planning program. And so this particular designation demonstrates that a person not only understands finances really well, but they also understand what Scripture has to say about it. And so I agree with you. I wish every church had a certified Christian financial counselor in there so that when somebody approaches the pastor and they say, "Pastor, I'm struggling with debt," which there's many in the congregation who are, the pastor doesn't necessarily have to be an expert on debt payoff plans, but he can send them to the certified Christian financial counselor in their church, much like you would send them to a marriage counselor if they had marital problems. And so I believe that it can be a tremendous resource for pastors and their churches to help people get financially healthy for the sake of advancing God's kingdom.
It's also highly affordable for a certification. And here's how it would work. Let's say you have a business person in your church that has some basic knowledge of finance and business, and you mention this to that man or that woman, and they say, I think I would do that. Let them pay for it. I mean, they can pay for it, but we also have another alternative, Art, and this is your surprise gift for today. The surprise gift is our nonprofit. We have a generous donor who has said that they are now donating the full amount for a certification in Christian financial counseling. So now, to the first person who writes us at hope@churchanswers.com and is serious about going through the certification, our nonprofit Revitalize Network will provide a full scholarship to them. You didn't know that, did you?
I had no idea. I think that's amazing, though. I'm very, very excited about that.
All right. Well, once again, if you are interested in this, let them go look at the information, Art, and tell us again where that information can be found.
Yeah. So it's you go to Christian Financial Health with the th.com. So it's christianfinancialhealth.com. You'll find the Institute for Christian Financial Health there, which houses this particular certification. And so once you go to the homepage, you'll see right up at the top, it says certification. Click on that, and then you're there. You see all of the information about the Certified Christian Financial Counselor program.
Well, look at it also in the show notes. Alana's going to put it in the show notes, and she can just put certification and then the address, the URL that you just mentioned, and they can go there and listen. Once again, it is first come, first serve. So I am assuming that you'll have a qualified person to go through this. Don't just try to do it just because you want to be first. We only have one of these scholarships available, but we're going to make it available through our nonprofit Revitalize Network. Art, we mentioned something at the end of last show that I want us to kind of wrap this up with. What age were you when you paid off your mortgage?
That's a great question. I think I was 38, I believe, when I paid off the mortgage. It may have been 37. It was the late 30s. When we paid it off.
And you had a multi-million-dollar income.
So that's one of the great misnomers that people often say, well, if you don't have a mortgage, you've paid it off, then you must be a gajillionaire. And the answer is no. You don't have to be a gajillionaire. In fact, I repeatedly meet people who have paid off their mortgage, and they're just average Joes. Right. So the question, of course, is how do you do something like that? Well, it first starts with buying a home that you can actually afford. In fact, you buy less than you can afford. And Sarah and I, we did that. We bought a home that would not stretch our budget by any stretch of the imagination. Right. And so that puts us in the position where we have margin in our budget, so we can put more money toward the mortgage. But here was our strategy. There's a number of different strategies that you could do. You could pay an extra. Make an extra payment every year. You could do, once again, what we did, which was any additional income that you receive, you put it toward that. If you receive a bonus, you put it toward the mortgage. If you receive a tax refund, put it toward the mortgage. Any additional income that's outside of your normal household operating expenditures, you put that toward the mortgage. That's what we did. And we were able to pay it off over a 7-year period of time. So don't think that, this just happened in 1 year, that they were able to knock it out in a year. No, it took a very disciplined approach over a long period of time to be able to knock this thing out. But man, it is worth it. I can tell you that. In fact, the ability to launch Christian Money Solutions is in large part because we did not have a mortgage. We had more financial flexibility. And so you can do more things. Exactly. And create greater margin in your budget. And once again, it's possible. It really is. That's one of the biggest things I need to tell people about this, is that this is something that's actually doable. I see people do it now a lot more than I ever thought that I would.
That's a great story. It's a great way to end this 3-part series. A lot of reminders. First of all, get the new book, Money in the Light of Eternity. Look in the show notes for the 8 money milestones, and also to the link for the Certified Christian Financial Counselor, where we are going to provide the full amount of the certification to one person who's truly qualified to do that. So any final words, Art? This has been 3 great episodes.
Well, first of all, thank you, of course, for having me on. And if any of the listeners out there have questions, it's really easy to get a hold of me on any of the topics that we've covered. You can just go to artrainer.com and click on the contact form there, fill out the form, get me whatever question that you might have. I love hearing from people, whether it's about the programs that we're doing, or even if you have some financial questions. I just like helping people. And so feel free to reach out to me there.
Thank you, Art, and thank you, listeners and viewers, for being a part of the Church Answers podcast. As always, thank you, Belay, for being our wonderful sponsor from the beginning till now, our only one and only sponsor. We're so grateful that you provide the resources so we can provide information like Art has for free. Once again, we got some free books that we're going to give you in another episode, so you have to go back to that episode. And this one is a major giveaway, a giveaway of the full cost of certification for someone in your church. As always, thank you for being a part of the Church Answers podcast. We got 3 episodes we dropped, all of them interviews with Art Rainer. You need to listen or watch all 3. We'll see you in the next Church Answers podcast.